This is the weekly sales meeting for August 2nd, 2026. My name is Chris Fleming. You can reach me at chris@cdmediaconsulting.com or go to our website at cdmediaconsulting.com. Today's topic, turn ordinary into extraordinary. Picture a two-lane morning on the Gulf Coast circa 1982. The humidity is already high. The sun is elbowing its way through live oaks. A young builder named Arch Applin III puts a key in the door of a 3,000 square foot convenience store in Lake Jackson, Texas. Picture brass ceiling fans and cedar accents. It is nothing fancy, but there is a promise baked into the paint job. The idea is to make a rest stop on a long journey feel like a destination. The thought is to treat travelers like guests. To do this, he would focus and never miss out on the details that everyone else ignores. This is the location that would give rise to the first Buc-ee's. For those unfamiliar with this refueling phenomenon, let me enlighten you. Arch Applin got the nickname of Beaver as a kid, and he never shook it. His family's retail DNA helped with that. His grandparents ran a little mercantile and filling station in Harrisonburg, Louisiana. It was the kind of place where service counted more than square footage. Applin took that early imprint and earned a construction science degree from Texas A&M in 1980. 2 years later, he opened his own store in Lake Jackson, Texas. He had the builder's eye for workflow, he had the retailer's expectation that the front door better be spotless, and the bathroom better be cleaner. The name and the brand weren't concocted by a focus group in some boardroom. It was a mashup of sorts. The Beaver came from Applin's nickname. Buck was borrowed from his Labrador Retriever, and the smiling Ipana toothpaste beaver from old TV commercials. The result was a logo that felt friendly, harmless, and impossible to forget at 75 miles an hour. People remember the Beaver, but the real advantage was the operating system. Applin and early partner Don Wesick pushed a few ideas to the edge and then kept pushing. My wife and I will drive the stretch of I-10 from Louisiana to Florida. She will always make time to stop at Buc-ee's. Why? They have the cleanest bathrooms. The princess will not use an unclean bathroom. She barely tolerates an unclean husband. Cleaned restrooms are not a perk at this now destination stop. They are a designed and executed strategy. The footprint of a Buc-ee's is massive, but the big stores are not for ego. They are a design strategy to remove friction. The aisles are wide to allow carts and families to move through them like rivers. The soda wall spans a town block because the belief is that choice slows arguments and speeds discussions. Every detail is served in the utility lens of human experience. It is to help deliver on the promise that at Buc-ee's you can pull in, exhale, and reset. Even the no 18-wheelers rule is a design choice. It protects traffic flow for minivans, weekend SUVs, and vacationing RVs. The company has said their lots and driveways are not built for truck staging. That stance irritates the trucking community, but it is consistent with the promise. These stores are built for families on the move. While the early years were all about the Texas Gulf Coast, the scale jump came in 2003. In Luling, Texas, about an hour south of Austin, the company opened its first travel center. That phrase sounds like a marketing upgrade, but this opened the door to what we can mentally picture today. It created a brand new category now synonymous with Buc-ee's. It was a fuel, food, and retail platform that behaved like a small airport concourse. Luling made the Beaver a roadside star. It was both the template and the proving ground for everything that followed. Buc-ee's started playing a different game. In 2012, New Braunfels opened at 68,000 square feet. It captured the crown as the largest convenience store in the world. They one-upped themselves with Sevierville, Tennessee in 2023. That location topped 74,707 square feet, and it snatched back the title in 2024 by rebuilding Luling at approximately 75,000 square feet. This is the kind of one-upmanship that feels silly until you step into a store and feel the flow. The space is operational leverage. Room to breathe is their competitive advantage. Clean bathrooms have become folklore. This does not happen by magic, it happens on a schedule. Applin's team turned maintenance into a ritual. The brand leaned into the idea that immaculate facilities are the table stakes, not a talking point. You may be trying to understand why strangers pose with a bronze beaver as if it were a national monument. It is the feeling you get when a business makes something essential reliably perfect. The food culture also grew with the footprint. This is not standard gas station fare, it is a parade. Fudge is cut on marble slabs. Kolaches are a nod to the Czech hill country. The jerky counter looks like a leather goods store. Brisket is chopped and sliced in view of a line that stretches past 3 kinds of pickled quail eggs. Then there are the beaver nuggets. These are the sweet caramelized corn puffs. They have been responsible for more car seat crumbs than any snack on the southern interstate system. Buc-ee's understands that if you're going to sell fuel as a low-margin magnet, you need a high-margin reason for people to linger. Food and branded merchandise became that margin. Price is a lever, but not in the way most people think. Buc-ee's doesn't try to win fuel margins. In states where it is allowed, they treat fuel like a loss leader. Why? Because a 20-minute dwell inside a 75,000 square foot retail barn is a real profit center. That equation collapses if your lot is jammed with staged tractor trailers. This is another reason behind the famous no semis sign. Again, it is consistency over accommodation. Operational clarity reigns over everything. Pay and staffing are also part of the design. Buc-ee's posts its wages at the door like a restaurant posts a menu. Entry-level hourly pay that would make a lot of employers blush. The sign boasts of holiday multipliers. Buc-ee's manager roles will hit 6 figures. It is a recruiting billboard and a culture stamp that says, "We will compensate the behaviors we desire." Those are speed, friendliness, and discipline. When you are trying to keep a hangar-sized store clean at 2:13 a.m., you need people who care about the standard. And here is a revelation for those in the cheap seats. Pay is one way you say you are serious about the mission. The expansion pattern stayed continuous for a long time. Taking a page from H-E-B, owning your own backyard was the first key. Texas was first. Then in 2019, Baldwin County, Alabama marked the first out-of-state opening. From there, the map widened. Buc-ee's added Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, Missouri, Colorado, Mississippi, and Virginia. What traveled wasn't only the logo, it was the playbook. Huge sites on high-traffic corridors combined with a kitchen that never sleeps, bathrooms that never slide, and a staff that can smile and move a line. Now add parking that can swallow a small county fair. The signboard marketing deserves its own chapter. In what may be seen as a nod of homage to Ron John's surf shop, Buc-ee's is ever present. If you've driven I-10, I-35, I-75, or I-95, you've seen the sequence. Clean restrooms, next exit, jerky, fudge, kolaches. You can hold it. Miles of friendly reminders that feel like a road trip companion tapping your shoulder at the right moment. Those billboards don't only advertise, they rehearse the stop in your mind so that when the exit number appears, you have already committed. The on-site experience then delivers what the last 30 miles promised. This is a master class in how you turn a massive billboard campaign into conversion and conversion into habit and a destination. There is a legend that the stores are so clean because they're cleaned every few minutes, and you can believe it when you see staff in motion. The cadence is relentless. Trash cans are emptied before they're full. The counters are wiped before they get sticky. It reads like choreography, but it is merely a standard enforced without apology. The sales lesson is simple. If something matters to your value proposition, you can't treat it like it's a sometimes thing. Underneath the retail pageantry is a builder's blueprint. Applin's construction background shows up in the way stores load and unload traffic, in the number of pumps pointed in the right direction, and in how the entrances split and merge crowds. The height of counters, the spacing of registers, and the sight lines to the restroom hall all matter. 1,000 small decisions add up to something that feels effortless. The beaver could have stayed local. Instead, the company exported a Texas idea in a way that feels less like an invasion and more like relief. If you've ever been hungry, tired, a little cranky, and 2 hours late with kids in the back seat, the beaver means mercy. Big restrooms, big aisles, big choices, big smiles, and get back on the road. None of this makes sense unless you view Buc-ee's as a sales organization with a storefront. The product is comfort, the differentiator is trust, the price is time, and the brand pays it back. The lesson is about the courage to draw a clear box around what you will be great at, and then ignore all the flack coming from the naysayers and the critics. Be great at delivering on your promise to the consumer. That is what Applin did with the first store. That is what the team does at the newest one. Along the way, pay transparency and wages become part of the brand. Post the numbers on a sign. Invite scrutiny. Tell your competitors what you are going to do and do it. Make it clear that you take the work seriously enough to price it correctly in a tight labor market that is not a risk. It is risk management. No matter what you read, you will learn a lot about Buc-ee's standing in one. The front doors open like theater curtains. Cold air wraps you. The smell is sugar, smoke, coffee, and floor cleaner. You hear the soft clatter of tongs on the jerky counter and the pop of candy bags at the fudge case. You watch 10 people grab for beaver nuggets. A couple argue over which ice to get. A toddler runs for the bronze beaver and gets scooped up mid-sprint. In the corridor, 2 employees clean opposite sides of the sink bank, moving at the same pace, without speaking. There is no mystery to it. It is a business standard, and it's paid and enforced. The story is a field manual for those who want to scale trust. Start with a narrow promise. Over-invest in the unglamorous pieces that make the promise real. Design for business flow and the customer, remember them, experience. Cut anything that slows a family on a 600-mile day. Post your wages and hire adults. Build the cleaning schedule into the heartbeat of the place. Put the brand on things that make sense, not everything that stands still. And don't apologize for designing for your core customer, even when the internet complains. Buc-ee's didn't make gas stations bigger. It rebuilt and then defined a category around human relief. Food that is hot and fresh. Bathrooms that are not a gamble. A place that feels like a short vacation from the worst parts of driving. The beaver is cute because the experience is calm. On the highway, calm is currency. If you want the lesson in a sentence, here it is. Buc-ee's is what happens when a founder refuses to treat clean, friendly, and plenty of room like slogans. Instead, he treats them like the product, because they are. Tonight, somewhere along an interstate you have driven 100 times, a family will look up and see that yellow circle, the one with a smiling beaver, and they will feel themselves relax. Almost instinctively, they will exit, fill up, buy brisket sandwiches, and a bag of pecans, and a t-shirt for a kid who doesn't need it, and a sack of beaver nuggets. They will swear they bought it for the road, but will eat before the next exit sign. They will rejoin traffic a little happier than they were 12 minutes earlier, and swear they will be back. Buc-ee's is a store that behaves like a promise kept. It is a logo that reads like an invitation, all because a founder understood that the hardest thing in business is to do the simple things well every single time. The rest are mere miles. There are many lessons to be learned from Buc-ee's, but the most important is to stone tablet your core principles. Make them the cornerstone of how you operate daily. They are not words on a page or tenets borrowed from some other company. They are your culture, and a culture that needs to be protected at all costs. This is what can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. My new book, Culture Beats Strategy, 40 Marketplace Lessons for Sellers, is now available on Amazon.com. If you like what you have heard here today, please consider ordering a copy or 2. You can always send one to a friend. Go to cdmediaconsulting.com right now and follow the instructions to order.